Riley Keough, who is the daughter of Lisa Marie Presley and granddaughter of Elvis Presley, is opening up about grief 1 year after her younger brother, Benjamin Keough, died by suicide at age 27. The 32-year-old actor appeared on the Just for Variety podcast hosted by Mark Malkin this week, using the end of their segment to discuss the aftermath of the loss her family suffered last year. I think when you're in grief, everything for the first time hits you, the Zola star said. It's like, oh, I'm experiencing this in grief now. It's the little things at first, like I'm going to the grocery store in grief. Never done that before in grief. And then it's like I'm going back to the gym in grief. And so you kind of have to re experience everything in grief all over again until you've kind of done everything in grief, in my experience. Keogh described returning to the set for the terminal list while grieving as a new experience to learn how to navigate. 2 days into being back on set, she said going back to everything being untouched was a bizarre experience. It's weird, you're back in your office, so to speak, but your brother's gone. She admitted that she had preconceived notions about suicide, so when Benjamin passed away in July 2020, she began posting videos on Instagram to share that the people you'd never know would take their life can take their life, and set out to take away the biases surrounding suicide. There's not one version of it, she added. In our scenario, I never would have imagined. It wasn't something that I saw coming. I think people have these ways they imagine mental health looking. And I think that really, for me, it was I had always wanted to communicate by him. Everyone that knew him knew that he was just a magical person. Since her brother's death took her by shock, Keough has said that she is trying to talk about it when she can because she finds people not talking about death frustrating, as it's something that we all have to face one day. As much as I can bring it to conversation, if it's appropriate, obviously, but particularly with people who have gone through similar situations, because I did. And I saw how uncomfortable it made people, she said. No one really knew what the right thing to say was. There's so much, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know if we should say it. Should I say it or should I not talk? And I'm just very much like, yes, talk about it. I want to talk about my brother. Keogh has remembered her brother and what would have been milestone moments throughout the last year after she penned a heartbreaking tribute to him after his death, less than 1 month after he was laid to rest at Graceland. She honored her brother on what would have been his 28th birthday, simply captioning an Instagram post that contained a multitude of family memories. Happy birthday, Angel. In December, Keogh reflected on her first Christmas without her younger brother by her side in an Instagram post sharing a close up cropped selfie of the siblings. Words can't describe how painful it is, she wrote, in part. I'm thinking of everyone who lost someone they love and everyone else whose first holiday is in grief and without the person they love. And I'm also thinking of all the beautiful people who can't be here with us in physical form and sending them my love wherever they may be, not too far away. During the episode, Keogh and Melkin got on the topic of her grandfather, Elvis Presley, after discussing similarities between country singer Orville Peck's voice to the king of rock and roll. When asked if she listened to her grandfather's music, Keough answered honestly, I don't put it on. If it's on, I'll listen to it, she added shortly after that, but there's definitely some emotion around it. There up definitely a lot of grief. Oh, sorry, there was definitely a lot of grief around it growing up, especially seeing my mom and my grandma. There was a sad thing, tragic kind of thing. So there was definitely that relationship to it. And I could see from a young age that it would make my mom sad, and I could feel that. Through listening to her grandfather's music isn't a conscious choice, Keogh said. It's definitely an emotional experience, especially if it's one of the more emotional songs. The more gospel stuff definitely makes me emotional, but I will listen to it if it's on. I don't go putting it on. For her next role in Daisy Jones and the Six, Keough will be singing, and Melkin pointed out the first thing audience members will look for and listen are to the similarities between her and her iconic grandfather. I'm not like, Keough quickly responded. My voice is not like Elvis, but I'll tell you what, I just recently learned that I do have kind of a country voice. I recognized that the other day in the studio. I have a weird voice, but it's fun and I love it. And I'm always interested in trying things. I have a weird thing where I don't care if I fail at things. That has been really helpful in the process.